I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines. No.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Dennis Walker. Touchdown. Smarty.
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes.
Caught. Touchdown. Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome here. X's and Bros on this Wednesday. It's Hump Day, the 13th day of September 2023. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Our Myers Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze. Ryan L. Key is at Ryan L_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. And, gentlemen, good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Ben with a mic. What's going on over there? Happy Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Almost made it through. We're about midway
That's
through
right.
the week. It's positive, right? That's a good thing, I suppose. And on today's program, we will not. You will not have to hear about anything regarding to the Mel Tucker case. So we are going to. There's nothing that happened yesterday that I saw to add to that. So back to sports, and that'll be a lot of fun. Unless, of course, you want to call if you have something. I know Dave in Hudsonville is probably preparing his opening statement for his Spartans. Haven't heard from him in a while.
He did try to get through yesterday. We just were up against it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so he's alive and kicking. He's doing well. This is good. This is good. Okay. That's a positive. I'm glad we were able to figure that out. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, including our good friend Chris Wormley with some great news. Big Worm has been signed with the Carolina Panthers. He's been picked up, so that's awesome. You know, we were talking about this season, and you know, he had reached out, and I just was like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And so we were talking a little bit about the game, and it was actually he was doing a podcast in Pittsburgh that he really liked doing, and you know, he wasn't signed by anybody. He was rehabbing the knee and you know working his way back, and you know trying to get on a roster, and got the good news yesterday that that's where he's at. So that's awesome. Signed the paperwork. That's great, but he's still going to join us on Wednesday mornings, talk about Michigan football, and also we're at we'll talk obviously a little bit about that signing and what he's doing right now, because that's a lot. He's a married man. He's got 2 kids under the age of 4, if I'm not mistaken. His family is here in Michigan, and now he's in Carolina. So there's always the human element to it that I try to at least reinforce a little bit, that this isn't as easy as people think. So it should be interesting to see, when he's able, if he's elevated from the practice squad up to the 53 man, and then what that looks like, adding or moving forward, I should say. All right, that's not the only great news we have. John Wagner will be joining us as well, and my AB Top 25 will be out a little bit later on this afternoon. One of our friend Jeff gets that uploaded to our website at MichiganSportsNetwork.com, and it's a philosophical difference that John and I have. That's what it is, because, and I'll play a little spoiler here. Texas is now number 2 in my poll. And you want to know why that is? Texas is number 2 in my poll because they have the best win of the season. That's why that is. That's what this is based off of. With the AP Top 25, what bothers me so much is that if you're not preseason ranked AP Top 25, then it takes forever for you to get in. You got to get votes, and then from getting votes to getting into the top 25, and then you're maybe 22 or something. And it takes forever for you to be able to crack into that top 10. But why? That's what I want to know. What, philosophically here, why do voters vote this way? Texas has the best, most impressive win of the season. And if Georgia is the defending champ and they remain at 1 until they lose the belt, then that automatically should put Texas at 2. Because they have the best win. Is the next best win? Florida State. They're undefeated. They'd beat what people ranked as number 5 LSU. So that's my third place team. I don't have, if one of them were to lay an egg, they'd probably drop out of the top 10 for an undefeated program, because all we're doing is voting. All we're doing is trying to judge what these teams are on the outside when you have no real idea, because a lot of these programs aren't even being tested. A lot aren't even being challenged for the first month of the season. But shouldn't we reward and commend those that want to schedule hard? So that's why it's the real top 25. That's why. It's not the AP top 25. It's the AB top 25. And if you want to read about it, it'll be up at MichiganSportsNetwork.com a little bit later. All right, what else is going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news. I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
All right, the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, reported yesterday as a torn Achilles. His season is over. Now, his season is over, but the head coach of the New York Football Jets, Robert Saleh, wanted to make sure everybody knew that even though his season is done, the Jets' season isn't done. Former NFL receiver Mike Williams has passed away at the age of 36. Just terrible. 8-year-old daughter and wife left behind. There was a construction accident that took place. So sad. So sad. And I don't know any more details outside of that. Seahawks added Jason Peters with the injuries at offensive tackle. So they send the 41-year-old left tackle, Jason Peters, to their practice squad. Not good. Right tackle Abraham Lucas missed the second half with a sore patella, which also bothered him during training camp. Left tackle Charles Cross left in the third quarter with a sprained big toe. And if we know anything, one, those toes are a problem. Frank Ragnow says you no longer have to reach out to him about giving him your toe. He's fine. He's going to be, he understands. Frank Ragnow's just not going to practice a whole lot throughout the course of his career anymore because he has the inoperable toe. But he doesn't need your toe. OKC unveils a plan for a new arena to keep the Thunder through the year 2050. Holy mackerel. They've committed to play in this new arena for at least 25 years. It's going to cost about $900 million, and I'm sure they're going to weasel money out of the taxpayer. Columbus coach Mike Babcock said players deny invasion of privacy claims. That guy just can't stay out of the headlines when it comes to bad relations with his players. And former Detroit Red Wing Tomas Tatar has agreed to a one-year deal with the Colorado Avalanche. We'll step aside when we return. Tigers baseball. They played last night. Not very well. We'll talk about it. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. He is a managing partner at Bean Garter, soon to be Dorn Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together. And did you know Bean Garter can help your business with outsourcing your payroll and other business needs? That can help ease tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. Just go to BeanGarter.com to find out more how they can help your payroll system and make your workplace that much smoother. Go to BeanGarter.com. That's BeanGartr.com, and they can help you with all your payroll needs. Like I mentioned, tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. All your payroll needs can be handled by the team at Bean Garter. Find out more at BeanGarter.com.
Fuel up for less with M-Perks. Earn points on your purchases when you shop at Meijer in-store and online. Then use your points to claim a fuel reward and save at the pump. Your dollar goes further at the pump with M-Perks. Plus, earn points for all qualifying purchases in the Meijer Express station. And keep a lookout for exclusive Meijer Express offers. Enter your M-Perks ID at checkout to earn. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons. Download the Meijer app to sign up or see Meijer.com to learn more.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
You know, yesterday we reported on this, and I just, someone sent me this late last night, said, did you see this? And Houston Rockets guard Kevin Porter Jr., attack on his alleged girlfriend at the New York City hotel, left the woman with a fractured neck vertebrae and a cut above her right eye, according to prosecutors yesterday. Now, what's crazy about this, obviously the story, is wild. Porter's 23, pleaded not guilty to felony assault and strangulation charges in connection with the incident Monday at the Millennium Hilton near the United Nations in Manhattan. Prosecutors say he didn't stop until his girlfriend, former WNBA player, former Michigan Wolverine, Kaiser Gondrezick, ran out into the hallway covered in blood. Gondrezick said that the NBA player also forcefully squeezed her neck with his hand, causing her difficulty breathing, redness, and bruising to her neck. Gondrezick was the fourth pick in the 2021 WNBA draft, played one season for the Fever, currently a free agent. It's only 2023. How the hell are you a free agent after 2 years? Oh, boy. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. All right, welcome back here to X's and Bros. Tough to I didn't realize it was Kaiser when the story came out, but yeah, she was and her sister, Kaiser's sister Calabria, played at Michigan State for a short while. So there's a little bit of tie. Kaiser ended up transferring. There was a lot going on there. But yeah, Kevin Porter Jr., jeez Louise, what are you doing? His career is over. That's it. There's no way this is going to be a he said, she said thing, and he's going to be able to get away with this. Even if we don't have video like Joe Mixon does, like, come on, ran out in the hallway covered in blood. Like, dude, what are you doing? So, and I'm all for it. Like, if you want to throw the hammer down at guys that are committing acts of domestic violence, do it. I mean, give them 15 years in prison and call it a day. You know, especially when you walk in, you're like, yeah, like this person has been beat up. Yeah. Like there is, I know that despite everybody's, this new wave of thinking that, everybody's equal and, all this BS that you get fed constantly, we're not. Men and women are not equal. There are roles within our gender. There are responsibilities that are within our gender. And that's just the way that it is. I didn't create this world, so don't take it up with me. If you can't handle that, I don't know what to tell you. Suck it up, Buttercup, I guess. But there are reasons that, we used to not allow men to participate in women's sports. Hopefully, the sensible people in this country will make sure that doesn't need to happen anymore. There's no point. It's ridiculous. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. But, yeah, maybe eventually the rational people will get our heads screwed back on straight and, get out of this era of the sane, intelligent people being shunned, shamed, and ridiculed while we let the idiots run the circus. And I'll leave you with that. But, yeah, under no circumstance whatsoever should we be participating in the same field and the same anything, because we're built differently. And if you can't understand, if that offends you and you can't understand that, that's a you problem. It's not on us, because we know, right? I'm not telling you can't do a job. I'm not telling you can't play whatever. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that men and women are genetically built different. That's what it is. If you can't look down and figure it out, what's going on, I can't help you there. But most men are created much different than most women. Physically bigger, physically faster, physically stronger, I'm not saying that men are better and more intelligent. Like, that's where you got to separate. I'm telling you that from a physiological standpoint, you people told me I had to trust science for how many years? Look at the science. We're different. Leave it at that. And just be done with it. So if Kevin Porter Jr., she runs out in the hallway and she's covered in blood, his career, his life, but his career is over. He's done. He'll never play basketball again. Nor should he. Straight to prison. That's one of those hearings I think you can get done pretty well. It doesn't even matter what they say. Like, that's the hardest part. Like, some women are so vile that they are going to push. And they're going to put their hands on you. They want to push you. They want to get mouthy with you. And you don't have to respond because you should be aware of the violence that you're capable of. So you should be able to, like, okay, all right. It's like a yip dog, like a little dog that just yips all the time. I don't know what's a tiny little dog, little schnitzel thing. The little ones that are always constantly barking, and then you get like a big dog that just kind of looks at it and is like, "What are we doing here?" It just carries on its own business because, like, what are they yelling about over there? It's the same principle. That's why we put up with it. We have to. But if you're in a relationship and the young lady gets out of line verbally or wants to put her hands on you, you got to walk away from that. Not just that individual situation, but I'm talking about that relationship. Because that's like, there are some women out there that, just like men, there's men out there that want to do the same thing. They want to instigate till somebody gets smacked in the mouth, and then what happens, right? But you can't, so you gotta walk. A lot of fish in the sea. A lot of fish in the sea. And for Kevin Porter, cost him his career. Football is back in full swing with another week of epic games, and who's got you covered on the action for every single one of them? DraftKings Sportsbook does, I'll tell you that. An official sports betting partner of the National Football League. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on the action unless you play for the Giants, then you missed out on 4 quarters. This all season long, all DraftKings customers can take advantage of these great offers every game day this September. Get in on the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app right now. Use the promo code HUGE to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody who has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. All right, this was supposed to be a Tigers segment. Basically, what happened was they lost in 10 innings, 6-5, to the Cincinnati Reds. Ellie De La Cruz was 1 for 4 with a couple runs scored, a walk, and a strikeout. I don't know why Akil Baddoo was put into that game late to pinch hit for Jake Rogers, who was already 2 for 4. I'm not really sure why that happened. Torque struggled a little bit. He was 1 for 5. Just a tough day. Javi Baez 0 for 4 with a strikeout. And if you want to know how Tigers fans are feeling, go to the Tigers final score graphic. Click on that on Twitter and read through the comments if you're interested to know on how Tigers fans are feeling about that ball game right there. Because they're it's out of their mind. Out of their mind. Run around talking like that on the internet. Game 2 of the series against Cincinnati is tonight at 6:40. Tigers are 66-78 on the season. Golf season is here. Matt Golden and his team ready to welcome you to one of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, offering not 1 but 2 championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives, located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Tullymore not only features top-of-line golf, but also top-of-line accommodations and the perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. We're back with John Wagner next here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archived boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Over to Tracy for breaking news.
We have super good news, Dave. The super sale is back at Meijer Friday and Saturday only. Get the biggest savings on Meijer sliced bacon, fresh Meijer chicken tenderloins, select apples, Sargento cheese, Coca-Cola or Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable, and Brawny paper towels. Get Meijer super sale deals in-store or online while supplies last.
Now that is super.
Shop this Friday and Saturday only during the Meijer Super Sale. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
I'm Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball.
I'm Herman Moore, and football is my game.
So we know a few things about sports.
And the passion of Detroit fans.
That's why we're big fans of Eagle Casino and Sports.
It's the mobile sports book that lets you bet on action all year long.
Right from your mobile device. Eagle Casino and Sports.
Made in Michigan. Made for Michigan.
Download the app and start winning today. Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ryan Elke, Ben Glaze, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Join us now on the horn, a member of the National Football Foundation and Football Writers Association of America. Covered the Detroit Tigers minor league system for a couple of decades. Our good buddy, John Wagner. Find him on Twitter at John Wagner Media. Johan, my friend, good morning to you, partner. How are you? How's life? How are things?
Anthony, I am a little slice of heaven. How are you this morning?
I am doing well. I have thought a lot about week 2 and where we're at. And look, I don't blame anybody like you and the rest of your cohorts putting Georgia at number 1. I don't know how anybody watched Michigan and put them and how they got 4 votes in your poll. I have no idea. But that's neither here nor there. Michigan's at 2. But the one thing that I always find very interesting about these polls is that in the preseason, if you're ranked, it's like you're in the race and you have a chance. But if you're unranked, trying to break into the top 25, and then once you're in there, trying to climb seems to be a little bit of a challenge. Why do you think that is?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Anthony, because I'm definitely of that ilk. If I've ranked a team in the preseason, I'm not going to go willy-nilly saying, oh, they had a bad game 1. I'm dropping them like a rock. Or, man, they really killed it in week 1. I'm raising them to number 2. You know, the teams, in fact, if you look at my rankings, if you don't lose, and I don't care how you win, ugly, single point, missed extra point, I don't care. You're not going to move down. You can only move up if you kind of hold serve. And here's the thing. The reason I say that is this. I hate the overreaction of saying, man, Texas looked good against Alabama. I should rank them number 1. And by the way, we had at least 2 voters who did that in the Super 16 poll. Not telling you that that they are wrong. Not telling you that at season's end they may not have the right answer. They might. But I hate putting a lot of stock in one game. That's why they play 12 and then 13 for a league championship and then 14 and maybe 15 to deserve a champion, or to determine a champion, rather. So I hate making a vote based on one game. If I think they're a good team, I don't think they're suddenly going to be a bad team just because they didn't play great 1 week. They can rise up and win. And I figure that over the course of 10 or 11 or 12 games, may take 12. When we're talking about Michigan, Ohio State, it probably will take 12. But just because they win ugly doesn't mean I'm going to drop them. And just because the team is great for 1 week it does not mean that I'm going to lift them way up in the polls. But let me kind of give you an example, Anthony. Who would you say are the teams that had the most noteworthy wins through the first 2 weeks of the season? Can we agree that
Florida State and Texas?
Florida State and Texas, I'd say that's right. Followed a hard competitive third by Colorado. Yeah?
I want to say Colorado. I have no problem with Coach Prime and what he's got going on there, but I just TCU losing Duggan, losing their number 1 wide receiver, a defense that looked absolutely god awful. I'm not overly enthralled by that. Yeah. I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. I mean, Matt Rule's got a lot of work to do in Nebraska. It's going to take him some work. So that to me, it didn't really ruffle my feathers. I have them up in my poll personally, but no, I'm not going to put Colorado in that fold, if you will.
Fair enough, though. But I think you're right that the 2 big wins through 2 weeks of the year are Texas and Florida State. Definitely.
And Miami. Can we throw Miami in there? I mean, they beat Texas A&M, high-scoring affair. It's all about the U. Can we please get the U back in the picture, please?
Hey, and you know that I love Texas A&M in the preseason. I had them very high in my poll. I believe last week I had them 7th. Am I right to say that? I think so. I think I had them 7th. And let's just say that they are no longer in my poll. But yeah, I put it this way. I think Miami's probably right there neck and neck with Colorado. But I do believe that you have it right when you started by saying Florida State and Texas. So, like I said, a couple people have Texas at number 1, which, okay, knock yourself out. A few people have Florida State at number 1. Again, maybe right, but let's see that play out. Did you have Florida State or Texas in your top 3 when the season began? If so, you have them jumping other teams that we think at season's end are going to be really, really good. Did either of those teams do enough to skip Georgia, to go over Georgia? Did they? Really?
No.
I don't think so.
Here's the thing, and the only reason I say that is this. By the way, get some action. How about Ball State? It was 0-0 after 1, John. Huh? How about they get some action? Bulldogs weren't ready between the hedges for the first quarter. We're not going to talk about the second and the third quarter, but that first quarter, Ball State, the Cardinals, Angry Birds, right? But I guess this is more of a philosophy question, and one that I think that, for me, it's very easy because Georgia is the 2-time defending champion. So they're going to stay at number 1, and they're not going to drop until somebody can beat them, because it's just like boxing. You don't just walk away and say, oh, you know, you have to give up your belt because we think that this guy in the pound-for-pound rankings could beat you. No, it's not how it works. You got to actually fight, and then when you're done fighting, whoever's left standing, they win, and then they have the belt. So until Georgia gets beat, they're my de facto number 1. However, I am willy-nilly in my poll because I think if you win a big game, especially if you're scheduling big games early in the year, you got the balls to do it. Let's go out there and reward them. I got Texas at 2. Hook 'em, baby. Texas is back. Florida State didn't do enough to stay at number 2. They dropped to number 3 because they beat Southern Miss, and everybody would beat Southern Miss. So Seminole chopped their way all the way to number 3. But that's the way that I look at it. I'm looking for big wins. I want to reward those ADs, those coaches that aren't afraid to get out there and put up a little bit of a fight, John.
My problem with doing that, Anthony, is what you did to Florida State. Why did they drop again? Because they didn't beat Southern Miss bad enough to make you happy?
Correct.
Was that it?
Yes.
So then next week when Texas is at home against Wyoming, and let's say that only ends up being a 1-touchdown, blah, ho-hum win for Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody else goes crazy next week, although next week is a bad week. There's no really gotta-see-it game out there. I mean, just not that I've seen.
This week or the following week?
This week.
Oh,
this coming week, week 3. This week is dry as toast. If I saw it correctly, if I read it correctly, there are no ranked teams playing one another. Next week is a different story. This week, though, there's not that really sizzle game that would get a team up into Anthony's number 2 spot behind Georgia with a win.
Well,
but that's my problem, though, Anthony.
Hold on here, John. I got one for you.
Okay.
I got one for
All right.
you. Now, only 12 people are going to be able to stream this game, but at 5 o'clock on a Saturday in East Lansing, the undefeated 2-0 Michigan State Spartans, without their head coach Mel Tucker, take on number 8 Washington. If they rally the troops here and pull off the unthinkable and somehow stop Michael Penix Jr. from throwing 25 touchdowns on them in this football game, if they win that, they're going up the pole. They are going up the flagpole, my friend. They're not only they cracking in the top 25, they're going top 10 in my poll.
Really?
That's a big time win.
Wow.
That's a big time win.
It is, Anthony. But as it sits right now, is Michigan State one of the 10 best college football teams in the country? Right now, as you sit there and I sit here on a Wednesday morning, are they one of the 10 best college football teams in the country?
I'm really glad we get to see them take on Penn State I don't know why everybody believes James Franklin's got, look, Aller was nice in week 1, but there were some passes there that they didn't go their other way. Oh, wait a minute now. A little shaky against West Virginia.
You'll notice that you didn't answer my question.
They could be
Clearly
top 10.
They are not.
They could be top 10. If they're 3-0 with a win against Washington, why would that not make them top 10? This is why the philosophy behind it.
Because you're judging them on 1 week out of a 12-week season.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was beating down. But that's the fun in it. They're supposed to rise and fall. It's like the stock market, John.
Well, then, here's what we should do, Anthony. This comes back to my old feeling that we're doing this poll too early in the year. We are too early in the season. We don't have a good mark on these teams. That's why they rise and fall like a roller coaster. Do you really want a roller coaster in the polls? Or do you want to know who the top teams really, really are? Well, I don't care. I don't know about you. Apparently you want the roller coaster. I don't. I want to know who those top teams are. I want to have at least a firm grasp. Now, if we got to debate the top 6, top 8, okay, I'm good with that. But if you have Michigan State, and answer me an honest question.
Honest question.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you have Michigan State right now in your top 16 teams poll?
No, I do not have them in the top 16.
Do you have them in your top 25?
Yes.
You're a homer. I'm sorry. I mean, okay. So you're telling me that, well, where are they, Anthony? Just so we have a point of reference.
Well,
in your poll, Michigan State is ranked.
The listeners are not going to find that out until a little bit later on, John. Are you trying to throw out a tease right now? Is this a preemptive strike on the old tease right now? And that's that's okay if it is. That's okay if it is. Okay. But I have them at 20. Well, I have them at 25 right now in my poll. I think that they're they got a better offense than Iowa.
Okay. So you have them at number 25. Fair enough. You're telling me by beating, where do you have Washington for the record?
Washington for the record. Let me just scroll up real quick here because this preemptive strike here. Washington is number 7 in my poll.
Oh, okay. You got it pretty high. So if Michigan State solidly beats Washington, okay, solid, not, Washington mishandles a punt and Michigan State recovers it in the end zone in the final seconds and goes for 2 and makes it and wins by 1 point, okay? Not fluky. Solid win over Washington. You're going to move them up well into the top 10, like top 5?
No, they're not going to be top 5, but I think that they deserve a spot inside the top 10 because they just took out a top 10 opponent. If they win like 34-27, or to be honest with you, even if they won the game and let's say Washington's punter punts it off his own face mask and it flies into the end zone into the hands of the Spartan mascot, Mr. Sparty himself, and they win. Gruff wins the game for him. Like, you won the game. You know what I mean? And when you say, John, that, how good is everybody? Are they actually this good? We are on the outside trying to vote on 130 plus teams. That's my problem. We don't know how good anybody is until you actually play somebody of some damn substance. I don't need to see Penn State versus Delaware. I don't need to see Michigan against ECU, followed up by UNLV, followed up by your guys, Bowling Green. That's a waste of 3 weeks. That's 3 weeks of my life gone. Poof, disappear. There's no point in playing those games. Like, you watch Monday Night Football this week, you're telling me that didn't have all the drama in the world. It's the best league in the world. What am I talking about? Why would I even compare that? It's like apples.
Well, because you wanted to also talk about Sunday night's game. Man,
toad turds.
That was high drama on Sunday night. My goodness. That was just incredible. Spine-tingling, jarring, edge of your seat, NFL's the greatest sport in the history of the world type stuff.
Did
Sunday
you
night,
see?
Right?
Yeah. Did you see how the Dallas Cowboys ate the New York Giants' offensive line, the New York Giants, who went and signed Daniel Jones to an extension, listened to Saquon cry so they could restructure his quarterback. They can't block anybody. Are you kidding me? Dallas looked like a varsity team taking out JV. That was glorious to watch. I watched all 4 quarters and couldn't have smiled harder just to watch the New York Giants burn in flames. Now, we just need someone to do that to the Cowboys this week. That would be great, and then I can be all will be right in the world.
Yawn. Trust me, I will admit to you, I watched a fair portion of the Lions game on Thursday.
Damn
Not
right
all,
you did.
Fair
Super
portion.
Bowl. Sorry.
Easy. Deep breaths. But this weekend, I did not watch a single snap of the National Football League. Not one snap. Didn't miss it either. Did not miss it. Yeah, do all you want with that Cowboys-Giants game. That, as you really, in your heart of hearts, know, was a capital YAWN.
Yeah, but
and 3 exclamation points.
But it's the best of the best. And when you see an NFL team destroy another one like that, that's worth watching. Like they did exactly to the New York Giants what Penn State did to Delaware. But yet we're going to sit here and talk, or like Michigan. Hell, Michigan didn't even score that many points against UNLV, for God's sakes. Look at Ohio State versus Youngstown State. Like, to me, and that's just me. Like I said, I mean, it's apples to acorns at this point. But yeah, I want to reward, if you go out there and you schedule tough, I want to reward you for that, because in the words of Nick Saban, there is no reward for scheduling tough. It can only hurt you, and we're not going to know who the good teams are until they start playing each other anyways.
And I would disagree with Saban. I would say you're going to get rewarded down the road. You know, you're just not going to get rewarded immediately. Hey, so let me ask you this. If Nick Saban you're going to get punished for that. That's what he basically said. I mean, I don't have that verbatim clearly, but that was his point, right? Alabama's getting punished for scheduling a good team,
a real
on
opponent,
its early
yes.
season schedule.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
So where did you have them in your poll?
I dropped Alabama down to 11.
Okay. Do you consider that punished?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're at number 11 in the second week of the season. Your season's over. You're not making the college football playoff.
Oh,
it's a wrap. It's over. It's over.
Please. That could not be more false.
Over. I guarantee you they don't make the playoff this year. I'll guarantee you that.
Anthony, let's say Alabama runs the table and beats Georgia in the SEC championship game. Are you telling me that's not doable?
I'm telling you.
You're telling me that's not doable.
Could they do it?
No. Don't say will they. I'm just saying, can they do it?
It's possible, yes. They could run the table and beat Georgia.
Thank you.
Yes.
And if they do that, are they in the playoff?
Not when you have an undefeated Michigan. Not when you have an undefeated USC.
Okay.
Georgia with one loss in the SEC
that you just beat in the championship game. You're going to take Georgia and not Alabama.
No, I'm not going to take Georgia.
You got to do better than that.
I'm not going to take Georgia. But
Alabama does that. They're in. Period. End of sentence.
You better hope that they do, because their season is on the brink already in week 2, because we don't have a set criteria. He's John Wagner. Find him on Twitter, John Wagner Media. We love him here on the program. John, as always, partner, thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciate you.
Anthony, I hope you and your listeners have a great week, and then have a wonderful Sunday washing cars and rustling leaves.
Huge here for my good friend Matt Golden. Now, he's the CEO and GM at the Tullymore Golf Resort. They're in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids. And fall golf is here, and they have some huge deals you can take advantage of on stay-and-play packages, tee times, and more. Just go to tullymoregolf.com. That is tullymore.golf.com. Also, if you want to book a Christmas party for the holidays, you want to squeeze in a business meeting with some golf and great food and beverages, Matt Golden and his team can take care of you right now. Go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com. They're also booking big groups, who want stay and play packages, or maybe you just want to look ahead to the perfect weekend in 2024. Remember, Tullymore is less than an hour north of GR in Canadian Lakes, Michigan. Book your stay and play package or get more info now at tullymoregolf.com.
He hasn't made a putt all day, but if he makes this one, we're all cracking a Labatt.
Hold it. Did you say if your buddy makes this putt, we're all cracking a Labatt? How about a Labatt Blue Light?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, you can do it!
It's a left-to-right break just outside the cup, a touchdown hill.
Appreciate the support. You guys mind if I putt now?
Oh, yeah, sure. Best putt ever.
Because making the big shot is better with a big crowd. Labatt takes everything to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer 2023, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt Regulations, U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Limited. Hey, buddy, where's my Labatt Blue Light? He made the putt, for crying out loud. I want my Labatt Blue Light.
Over to Tracy for breaking news.
We have super good news, Dave. The super sale is back at Meijer Friday and Saturday only. Get the biggest savings on Meijer sliced bacon, fresh Meijer chicken tenderloins, select apples, Sargento cheese, Coca-Cola or Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable, and Brawny paper towels. Get Meijer super sale deals in-store or online while supplies last.
Now that is super.
Shop this Friday and Saturday only during the Meijer Super Sale. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Hey, sports fans, here's a hanging curveball that you can knock out of the ballpark. This is Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball, inviting you to step up to the plate at Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sports book where you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today. Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play.
First flight of the Airfield Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower. Discovery's 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here on this Wednesday. It's Hump Day. It's the 13th day of September 2023. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Our Meyer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox, and you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ben Glaze is at @TheBenGlaze. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key, and I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. What's going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news. I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
Tigers fall in the 10th inning last night, 6-5 to the Cincinnati Reds. Boy, it feels like once football season hits and, this team is basically out of it where things drastically change. The Tigers now 66-78, 9.5 games back of Minnesota. For that AL Central division. It's basically over. In the 10th inning, Spencer Torkelson had a fly ball that moved Andy Ibanez to third, but Akil Baddoo had grounded out, and, Ibanez was picked off at the plate. I don't know about what exactly the strategy was in that moment right there. Just a little bothersome, a little bit, if you are a Tigers fan. So I understand some of the complaints, but I clicked on the final score graphic just to read what Tigers fans were thinking, and boy, are they angry. My goodness. Real quick, Ibanez was 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, 2 RBI, had a home run, also drew a walk. Vierling was 1 for 4 with a walk and a strikeout. The big guy's Torque was 1 for 5 with a run scored, so good for him. Kerry Carpenter was 2 for 5 with 2 RBI, also had 2 strikeouts. Miguel Cabrera was 1 for 4 with an RBI and 3 strikeouts. My goodness. Javi Baez 0 for 4. Parker Meadows 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Parker Meadows, his batting average has dropped to 197. Ugh. Ellie De La Cruz, by the way, he is if you're going to go get a ticket, that's the reason why. He was 1 for 4 with a couple of runs scored, drew a walk, and had a strikeout, hitting .235 on the season. Speaking of the season, the Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, his season is done. However, Robert Saleh emphasizing that the Jets season is not over. They might look at the quarterback market, but they are going to roll with Zach Wilson, is what he said. I don't know why people are trying to put an obituary under our team name, Saleh said on the Zoom call. I want to make it very clear. Zach's our quarterback. We've got a lot of faith in Zach. They have so much faith in Zach, they went out and traded for a different quarterback to start for him. Former NFL receiver Mike Williams passed away at the age of 36. There was a construction accident that took place down in Tampa left him partially paralyzed. The Tampa Bay Times cited the mother of Williams' 8-year-old daughter reported he was taken off of a ventilator last Thursday. That's terrible. The Seahawks signed 41-year-old left tackle Jason Peters. Now, Seattle's a very interesting case. And every year this happens in the NFL, it might, I don't want to overreact to week one, but Seattle's lost this past week, not only on the scoreboard, but also Abraham Lucas missing the second half with a sore patellar. That's on the right side at tackle, and Charles Cross on the left side. That makes things very difficult for a team that was, had a lot of high expectations coming off of that Geno Smith season last year. And I don't want to overreact, like I said, too much to week number one, but you're 0-1 with a divisional loss 30-13 to the Rams that don't have Cooper Kupp. This is, Seattle might be one of those teams. Seattle, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, the Giants. Very, very interesting. Ohio State has named quarterback Kyle McCord the starter for the rest of their season. I think this is a good move. One, not only because he outplayed Devin Brown, especially in the last game where he was slinging it. Ryan Day acknowledged that the offense hasn't clicked to its full potential, obviously. Through the first two games, McCord has thrown for 497 yards and 3 touchdown passes, kind of looking like what Michigan used to. However, McCord figured it out last game that you have to be able to throw the ball to Emeka Egbuka, and you have to be able to throw the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. Just throw it at them. They'll get it. They will be open. There aren't enough DBs in the country right now that can guard those guys one-on-one. And then use that double team that they're going to get, that they're going to draw. Use that to your advantage in the run game. Because their run game hasn't looked stellar either. This is the first time in a while that I've looked at Ohio State through the first 2 weeks, and I'm like, and you know how I felt when Ohio State came to Michigan the first time that we beat them. And I believe they had played Michigan State, if I'm not correct. It was right around my birthday. Because I remember watching the game. We were in Cleveland for the Browns and Lions. Me and a bunch of friends, and we had the game on, Michigan State versus Ohio State. And I was like, oh, my dear God. Watching Ohio State just pummel. It was 2 years ago because Michigan State had beaten Michigan. I'm like, how? The transitive properties and all that stuff where if you beat this team by this many, then you should be able to beat that team by that many because that team lost to this team. You do all that. I mean, I was nervous. This is the first time I've looked at Ohio State probably in 15 to 20 years that I haven't been overly concerned with what the Buckeyes have going on. I have them currently ranked at number 6, I believe, in my poll. I think, depending on what happens this weekend. And look, John Wagner called me a homer. That's the best part. I said Michigan State at 25, and John Wagner called me a homer. I'm sorry. Has Iowa done something great that they should be so much further ahead that at least Michigan State has taken their opponents and beat them the way that they're supposed to beat them? Sure, the first half of Central Michigan was pure action, but the second half was fine, and then last week was fine. And if they come out this week and beat number 8, Washington, I think that means something. So, yes, I elevated them to the top 25, and if they beat Washington, they're going into the top 10. Because that's how I'm going to do this. Give me the chaos, baby. That's what I want. I want teams jockeying for position. I got Miami ranked up there, too. Texas is, too. Texas is back. OKC has unveiled a new plan for a new arena to keep the Thunder in Oklahoma City through the year 2050. Thunder ownership has committed to contribute $50 million. That's pretty cool. I mean, the Thunder owners really come into the plate here. They're like, we want to keep OKC in OKC. This franchise, the Thunder, are going to keep it rolling. We're going to put up $50 million for this new arena. The new arena is expected to cost at minimum $900 million. So do some math for me real quick and tell me where the other $850 million are going. Because my buddy Pete in Petoskey wants to open up a brand new coffee shop. Brand spanking new. The most beautiful coffee shop in Petoskey. It's going to overlook Lake Michigan. It's going to be beautiful. Pete should go to the city of Petoskey, and say, hey, look, I've got $13 for this brand new building. Let's have the taxpayers build the rest of it. Do you know what the city's going to tell Pete Petoskey? They might even arrest him and try to charge him with being a lunatic because it's the dumbest thing that anybody's ever heard. There's no way you're going to be able to do that. How are you going to be able to open up your own business and then charge makes the taxpayers pay for it? When I'm president, I will put an end to this, folks. You want a brand new arena? You own the team? Guess what? Here's a 30-year mortgage for you. Good luck building it. Have a great day. You're not getting taxpayer money to build new arenas. I can't stand that. Drives me crazy. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this. Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. He is a managing partner at Bean Garter, soon to be Dorn Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together. And did you know Bean Garter can help your business with outsourcing your payroll and other business needs? That can help ease tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. Just go to BeanGarter.com to find out more how they can help your payroll system and make your workplace that much smoother. Go to BeanGarter.com. That's BeanGarter.com, and they can help you with all your payroll needs. Like I mentioned, tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. All your payroll needs can be handled by the team at Bean Garter. Find out more at BeanGarter.com.
We played for the thrill, that rush you feel with the game on the line. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver. Now, with Eagle Casino and Sports, the new sportsbook app from Soaring Eagle, anywhere I'm at, I'm still in the game.
Sign up now and get up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 for a risk-free bet on your next favorite underdog, parlay, or prop.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
There are 13 folds that bring the American flag to the iconic shape of freedom. This summer, Folds of Honor and Budweiser celebrate 13 years of changing military and first responder lives together. Service never stops, and neither will we. So join me in raising a Budweiser to raise funds for Folds of Honor.
Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Hey, folks, you feel that chill in the air? Well, golf season's coming to a close. It's never too late, however, to book your stay and play for the end of 2023 with Matt Golden and his great team over at Tullymore Golf Resort, located in Canadian Lakes. It's smack dab in the middle of the state, about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Tullymore not only featuring top-of-the-line golf, but also top-of-the-line golfing experiences, accommodations, golf carts. Love that. They got a free shuttle that'll take you from Tullymore over to St. Ives, which is great. You can stay right there on the grounds. It's the perfect spot for you. Visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. All right, so because, the Ryder Cup's right here at the end of the month, golf season's kind of, winding down, and, we with all of the changes that we've had here, we lost one of our big proponents of golf, and I was playing on a Sunday. It was a Sunday not too long ago. It was actually 4 days ago, this past Sunday. We're going to get an early tee time. Course is pretty jammed up, but we're going to get like 9:15. Perfect, right? I want you all to know, because that's a great way to start a Sunday, right? You hit the links early, you get home, you flip over one screen to Red Zone, you throw on the Fox game on one TV and the CBS game on another, you lock in for the day, right? Oh, it's beautiful. There is an issue, however, with an unspoken rule in golf that I thought most people were aware of, but I need to reinforce here on the program this morning, because I know a lot of you go out and play. Some of you play well. Some of you don't. Some of you might just be learning the game. You might have young kids that you might want to get interested into the game, because that's really the cool thing about golf. My dad didn't golf as a young person, but he basically picked up the clubs because my mom's family played, and we started to play when we were little, right? And so now my dad and I can play. It's something that we can do as an activity together. I know Ryan and his father. They do the same. A lot of very similar. Go to sporting events, play golf, right? Those things where you can spend some time and have an activity to do with your family. Now, this isn't gonna apply to everyone. Some people are gonna roll their eyes, and be like, "Oh God, he's talking about golf again." But here's the deal: if you book a tee time that is before noon on a weekday, or before noon on a weekend, pardon me. If you're playing during the week and it's before noon, you're probably retired in that wheelhouse of I can do this, or maybe it's a third shift thing. You got off of work, but there's not that much traffic because other people got to work. The unwritten rule of golf is very simple. If you are going to try to play on the weekend and you are either A, learning the game, B, new to the game, C, a bogey plus golfer, or D, you just stink at golf. All four of those are fine. It should be illegal for you to book a tee time before noon, though. And you have to be aware of this. Self-awareness is important. So we tee off at 9:15, right? 10, 11, 12. We should be done before kickoff, right? That the 4-hour round takes us to 1:15. We should be done by then, because you really got to be walking around looking for balls, taking your time, dude, hit the ball. Ready golf, hit the ball. I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself. But whether you play good golf or you play bad golf, you need to play fast golf, especially if the tee sheet, which is the tee times at the course, is packed with people. You got to get going. Whoever that first group is off, you got to build some momentum here. You got to build some space. You're not playing for the Masters. I don't care if you're doing gimmies, 2 feet, 3 feet, whatever. 100 feet, pick it up, go to the next hole. Go. If you hit a ball into the woods and you know it went into the woods, there's no sense in stopping your cart to walk around for 5 minutes to look for it, because now you're backing everybody up. Take your penalty stroke, because even if you found it in the woods, you're going to have to drop because it's going to be unplayable. If you think you have a shot, you're probably going to shank it off of a tree and hit yourself in the groin. Just take the drop and keep it moving. You might have hit one in a long rough, and you're like, dude, I can't find it. It should be right here off the fairway, and both got, all four of you are looking for it. No one can find it. take this. I will give you a free drop. You heard it here on this program. X's and Bros just gave you a freebie. If you hit a ball that is close to the fairway, that is in thick rough, that no one can seem to find, but everybody knew it was right there, tell your friends. AB just gave you a free drop. And I'm giving you that free drop, not for you and your score. I don't care about that. Go have fun. I'm giving you that free drop for the 9,000 people behind you that want to keep playing golf and don't want to stand there and stare at you guys driving circles around the rough looking for the ball. We teed off at 9:15. It took us 5.5 hours to play 18 holes. Now, granted, we were having fun. There was 4 of us, so we had a skins and pins game going on. There's a game called baseball, also known as 9 points, which, because we had some time on every hole, it was backed up on one. I said, well, we could play baseball with 4 people. Like, how do we do that? I said, well, we got to find a number that's equally divisible by 4. We went with 16 points a hole. There is a monetary value on each point. It's a lot of fun. And you just, if somebody had a par, bogey, double, triple, the winner of the hole, the low score, they would get 7 points. Next person gets 5. Third place gets 3. Last place gets 1. Right? And then you got to work out how you tie. If you tie it first, what do second and third get? If you tie it second, what is first and fourth? You go on and so forth. I have it all figured out. And we have that game going, right? So there's a lot happening right here. I need like 2 scorecards to keep track of all the money that's about to be exchanged in hands. And we're playing 18 holes in 5 hours and change. We were well into the second quarter of the football games, and we're still on the course. How did I know that? Well, red zone, baby. Let's go. Fire up the NFL app, and let's keep it moving. It is so frustrating, and I didn't mind it until like the very end, where I'm like, dude, it's like past 2:00 right now. Like, what? We're still here. I could play 18 holes if there's nobody in front of me. Myself and my father can play 18 holes in under 3 hours. I'm not rushing anybody. Watch where your partner's ball's going. Help them look for it real quick. And keep it moving. Like, what are we doing? We did all of that so that I could miss a putt on the back on number 18 from like 12 feet. I went Rammy twins on him, just private ramrod over here. Just blasted this thing, went into the cup and bounced out and then rolled 3 feet away to shoot even. Like, I mean, I was on fire on that back nine. On fire. Couldn't miss. Smashing drives, good club selection. And it's not that I was playing, it was because I was playing slow, like, maybe like we had time to think about everything. Yeah, we're just sitting there having conversation, watching football at that point. Which, by the way, I need to buy some sort of magnetic screen or arm or device that I'll be able to bring the iPad and then be able to have the iPad get the Wi-Fi or the internet from the phone, use my phone as a hotspot, and that way we could put the monitor in the golf cart. How cool would that be? Huh? That's what I'm looking for right there. If we're going to be out there for 5.5 hours, you're damn right I'm going to be watching 7 hours of commercial-free football. The point is, play fast, man. Like, dude, you're not I'll give you the free drop right here. Purely based on pace of play. Just keep it moving. If you look behind you and you got people stacked up, that's your fault. Football is back in full swing with another week of epic games, and who's got you covered on the action for every single one of them? Well, DraftKings Sportsbook, of course, an official sports betting partner of the National Football League. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 brand new offers every single game day this September. So get in on the NFL action for week number 2 with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app right now. Use the promo code HUGE and sign up. New customers bet $5. Get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Only at DraftKings. Only using the promo code HUGE. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody who knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility, deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Michigan alum Chris Wormley joins us next live from Carolina. How awesome is that? Just signed with him. Let's talk about it next here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Over to Tracy for breaking news.
We have super good news, Dave. The super sale is back at Meijer Friday and Saturday only. Get the biggest savings on Meijer sliced bacon, fresh Meijer chicken tenderloins, select apples, Sargento cheese, Coca-Cola or Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable, and Br0's paper towels. Get Meijer super sale deals in-store or online while supplies last.
Now that is super.
Shop this Friday and Saturday only during the Meijer Super Sale. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTab at FreddyThePizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FreddyThePizzaman@gmail.com.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ryan Elke, Ben Glaze, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Join us again this week. A Michigan alum that we have some breaking news on today's program, by the way. His name is Chris Wormley. You can find him on Twitter at Chris_Wormley43. And Chris, last time we talked, you were in Ann Arbor. Chris, where are you now, my friend?
I am in the good state of North Carolina, and I just signed yesterday with the Carolina Panthers. So, yeah, a lot's happened since the last time we talked.
Oh, man. All right. So, yeah, wow. We talked, obviously we talked about you being down there. What happened, man? What's the, walk us through the entire process here.
Yeah, so last week I was there. I was in Charlotte for a visit, and I thought it was going to be a dead end. I left without signing a deal, and then my agent called me later last week and was like, "Hey, they want to bring you in. We're gonna try and make it work." So drove down here on Sunday and signed yesterday. So it's been a busy week.
Wow, drove down. So like this process here. So where are you now? Are you how do you navigate that? I think this is one of the more fascinating things that people don't realize when they see transactions, whether it's guys being signed, guys being traded, free agency, being drafted when you first enter the league. It's like the little things in life, like, wait a minute, where's my car? Where am I going to live? Where's the grocery store? How do I get to the facility? Now you got to try to navigate all this real world stuff.
Yeah, so all of those are great questions that I'm still processing now. I'm in a hotel for the next, 4 or 5 days until I find a place. But, yeah, trying to find a grocery store, trying to, brought my car down so I could have a little more than just a suitcase full of clothes. Trying to learn a new team, trying to learn a new scheme. So it's not just, put the pads on and go play ball. It's, a lot of real world, real life things that happen kind of in the blink of an eye. I got the call, I think, on Thursday or Friday, and it was, on the road by Sunday. So, quick transition, but that's kind of the life of a football player, especially when you get signed, not during free agency, but more so, during week one of the season or during camp. Everything happens pretty quickly, and you kind of have to adjust on the fly.
Was there one game, were you just glued to the television all day Sunday and then into Monday Night Football?
Well, I mean, I would have loved to be, yeah.
But you're on the road.
I was on the road, so I caught a little bit of the Steelers 49ers game that was on my Hulu app when I was driving, listening to it. My boys couldn't pull it through. My old team, they hopefully they can figure it out over the next 16 weeks. I think I can say that now that I'm in the NFC South and not the AFC North. But watched most of that game. But then watched the Sunday night game for what that was worth. And then obviously yesterday's game was crazy. The first drive with the Jets, Aaron Rodgers goes down, which so much hype and so much promise for the Jets. I feel like the Jets just, I don't know if they're the new, Boston Red Sox when it comes to the curse. But watched a lot of ball, but like I said, now it feels good to play ball again. So
yeah, that's a man. First off, to your Steelers, I don't know if that's a Steelers issue or if that's just the fact that this 49ers team, I mean, they look something fierce out there. My goodness. And then you had the Sunday night game and the Cowboys just ran all over the New York Football Giants. I mean, if you want to do anything in this league, you got to be able to block. Like, you have to. If you can't block, the Giants O-line, my God. Like, dude, you got to at least, trip somebody if you have to.
Yeah, I know they just paid the right tackle or the left tackle some big bucks. Obviously, they paid Daniel Jones the money, but the rest of that whole line can't figure it out. It's going to be tough sledding all year. They have a solid defense, but when you got teams like the Cowboys who have Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence who can rush the passer like no one's business, it's going to be a tough sled at least 2 games of the year. And then the Eagles, they led the league in sacks last year, and they got a bunch of rushers that they had 4 guys last year with double-digit sacks, and they're in the NFC East, so we're seeing them twice a year. So it's going to be going to be, if they can't figure it out, the Giants, that offensive line, it's going to be rough because they had a lot of problems coming into the season too. You know, they made the playoffs last year, won a playoff game, and had a lot of the same guys back. Brought in Darren Waller, and you know, they got to figure it out on the offensive line.
You know, we talked a lot about the lines last week with the University of Michigan, your alma mater, and that game against East Carolina. They take on UNLV on Saturday, and things looked, I would say, a little bit better. Chris, you had asked, and I referenced this multiple times, both on TV and on radio. You asked for your Michigan defense to do one thing, get to the quarterback. It's sack time, as Jim Brandstetter used to say. 5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. Defense did a much better job of getting to the quarterback. I thought ECU, their quarterback, did a nice job of just getting the ball out as quickly as possible, right? Don't even give him a chance. You feel the pressure, just chuck it and see what happens. But UNLV, they could not get in any sort of a rhythm because Chris Jenkins and company, they played a really good ball game.
Yeah, Chris Jenkins was definitely had a better game, at least in the stat sheet. I know he played, watching some of the game 2 Saturdays ago. It's not like he had a bad game. He just didn't flash like we all expected him to, and I think he showed that this game. Still really impressed with Mason Graham. He continues to show up in big ways. And then you got guys like a young Derek Moore who kind of, is probably looking to get more and more snaps as the season goes on. But yeah, I was pleased with, well, at least with the sack production of the defense this week. Seemed like they had I don't know if that was an emphasis for them. Maybe they were listening to the X's and Bros show. But I was pleased with how they got to the quarterback, and obviously, hopefully that transitions into this weekend against the mighty Falcons.
Yeah, we'll get geez, the mighty Falcons. Oh man, you got guys on their team releasing hip hop records in the middle of the season right now. I mean, just what are we doing? Anyways, JJ McCarthy. I mean, look, I am okay. We're 2 games in. I'm not going to panic, but Blake Corum in this game, 15 carries, 80 yards, 5.3 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns. Cool. Statistically, all right. Donovan Edwards, 6 carries, 9 yards. Circle that, question mark. 5 catches, 26 yards out of the backfield. I mean, is this the pendulum swinging more towards the pass game because you have an ultra-capable quarterback in J.J. McCarthy? Like, is Michigan's offense, is it evolving? Is it changing right now as we're watching it?
Yeah, I think it has a lot more to say about the progression and the development and growth of J.J. McCarthy than it does on Edwards and Corum's, I guess, lack of production, even though, 3 touchdowns is like, okay, you're really, pulling teeth trying to find some negatives when it comes to Corum's game. But, I mean, J.J. McCarthy played almost a near-perfect game, 3 incompletions, almost 300 yards passing. And, for a Michigan quarterback, anytime you get close to 300 yards passing, that's a pretty damn good day for a Michigan quarterback. I think he was a second leading rusher with just 3 carries, 38 yards. So I mean, he's progressing, and you can see it week by week. And obviously, as the competition gets stiffer and gets more competitive, you're going to want to see that growth to continue. But these last 2 weeks, I mean, he's played as good as he can while only playing maybe 6 quarters maybe. So excited to continue to see his progression, and I think Corum and Edwards are going to find their groove, find their rhythm, especially when that offensive line continues to gel and continues to build that chemistry. It's not all solely on the running backs. I think the offensive line is going to continue to get better, and that's what we should look to see over the next 2-3 weeks.
J.J. McCarthy, you mentioned his 3 incompletions. One of the completions that he made there, a guy that you know as well, Jack Miller. I was standing next to him on the sidelines. He's doing the pregame and postgame on the Michigan radio network from Learfield, and J.J. makes this throw to the far side of the field. It's like diagonally to our right, away from us. And it maybe the football could have maybe fit through like a laptop screen or like an iPad is the window that J.J. had. His accuracy, I mean, he's hitting guys in stride, giving them an opportunity to make a play with the football. I don't know if there's a way that I can emphasize what he's doing right now and how difficult that is. But, man alive, when you think about the talent that young man has, and now it seems like it's all coming together, his pocket presence, like he's not tucking the ball and running. He's moving in the pocket, extending plays with his legs, and continuing to keep his eyes downfield to move the football with his arm versus his legs. I mean, just the growth from last year to this year looks sensational.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at guys like Mahomes, who's a pretty mobile quarterback, but he doesn't use his legs to scramble and run like a Lamar Jackson or Mike Vick back in the day. He's looking to extend plays, looking for receivers to get open, and uses that athleticism and that mobility to extend plays and get the ball down the field. And I think that's what J.J. McCarthy is doing now. You could tell he's a lot more comfortable in the offense, a lot more comfortable running the show. And, I mean, look, he's the quarterback, he's the face of the program, and it is his show, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So for him to use his legs the way he has, not just to scramble and get rush yards, but to extend those plays and get those receivers open, I think is huge for the offense. It just opens it up so much more than him standing in the pocket being a pocket passer, which not many quarterbacks in college or in the league are really pocket passers. Really, they're looking to extend plays more and more.
Well, it's because all the defensive linemen are running sub 540s. You better be able to run, or you're going to end up on your back looking up at Jesus, asking him why you picked this profession. How do you defend against that, though? Because, you mentioned Patrick Mahomes. We're there at the watch party at Ford Field Thursday night, and the guy is just that little slippery snake. Like, you just can't get your arms. You just want to I just wish we could have, grabbed him by the throat and choke slammed him or something. He just gets away. Aiden Hutchinson had 5 pressures where he was all up in Mahomes' jock, and Mahomes somehow slides out and makes a play. And it's like, this is unbelievable. Now, whether his receivers caught the ball or not, it's completely irrelevant because Travis Kelce's probably going to catch that football. However, how do you as a defense go about trying to scheme against a quarterback that has that type of mobility?
Yeah, it's especially as a defense when you have 4 rushers as a defensive line. It's 4 rushers rushing as one. You gotta be on the same page. You got to be in your rush lanes. You can't, have 3 guys to one side of the ball and have the B and C gap on the opposite, or the A and B gap on the opposite side wide open for him to step up and make those throws. You can't lose contain as an outside edge rusher. So it's really not just one guy, hunting Mahomes. It's 4 as one, and it's really hard to contain those type of guys. The Lamar Jacksons, even Justin Herbert, I think does a really good job of keeping plays alive with his feet, not looking to run downfield, but looking to, use his feet to throw the ball downfield. But really working as one and having a really solid rush plan that you have to work, from Wednesday when you hit the field for practice for the first time that week to Saturday walkthrough before the game, the day before the game. So a lot of preparation, a lot of film, and a little bit of luck when you're trying to get guys like Mahomes down.
Michigan will now take on the Bowling Green State University Falcons, 7:30 kickoff over on BTN on Saturday night. By the way, brand new lights inside Michigan Stadium to go along with the scoreboards and the sound system, so you'll get your first light show if you're there in Ann Arbor. That'll be exciting. The game, however, look, Bowling Green's a team that lost to Liberty by 10. So you go into this final non-conference. I hate when they call it the preseason. Like, it's not the preseason. If you lose to East Carolina, if you lose to UNLV, it sends the entire season in a spiral. Like, there's not. Alabama, dropping a game to Texas. They're on the outside looking in now. They have to play perfect football on the way out. But you lost to Texas. It's a little bit different than losing, to the Pirates of East Carolina. So with this being the final non-conference game going into their conference schedule, which will have Rutgers the following week on the 23rd, what is the one, maybe like the last thing you're looking to see or you hope that this team can do and kind of learn from in this non-conference before they start to, basically sit at the table and, eat the meat and the potatoes with the rest of the big guys?
Yeah, I think you said meat and potatoes, and that's what the Big Ten is. It's power football. And I'm looking for those 2 running backs to kind of shine this game. We've seen McCarthy and the receivers, especially Roman Wilson, kind of shine the first 2 games. But let's get back to, I guess, what their identity was the last 2 seasons, and that's running the ball. And I think when you can complement each other the way that I'm expecting them to this year, if they can get 200 yards rushing and 200 yards passing each game, I think it's going to be really tough for teams to beat them. So on the offensive side, I want to see those 2 running backs kind of get into a better flow than they did the last 2 games. And on defense, just continue to, I'm a big guy, I'm a D lineman, so let's continue to get sacks. I know the Falcons like to pass. They threw for almost 400 yards last week. So So there's going to be plenty of opportunity to get after the quarterback and with that type of scheme that the Falcons like to play. But also let's see some of these DBs and secondary. Let's get some turnovers that way too. I know they had one in the first game, and I don't think they had any last week unless I'm missing something. But let's get some turnovers because those are going to be huge as well come Big Ten play. But just continue to build off the last 2 weeks. O-line continue to push the line and move the needle when it comes to that. But really just play a complete game. And I think they'll be sitting pretty for the Big Ten. In 2 weeks with Rutgers. But you can't look past the Falcons. You can't look past any opponent because as Michigan fans, we've seen them lose to App State, lose to Toledo. So it's not. There's no real true easy game. You got to come with your A game each and every Saturday.
At the end of the day, they're still college athletes. They're still working out. They're still going to class. They're still trying to win every game, no matter who that is that lines up across from you and what the talent gap may be. He is Chris Wormley, newest member of the Carolina Panthers, might we add, Chris Wormley. Find him on Twitter at Chris_Wormley43. Chris, my man, as always, appreciate the time today. And who knows, maybe not. We'll be able to do this again next week. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, we'll keep doing it until we can't.
My man, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yep.
I like that. We'll keep doing it until we can. That's awesome. Signing with Carolina on the practice squad, and hopefully the knee holds up, and he'll be able to get elevated, get back out there on the field, and continue to do what he loves to do. Man, it's a wonderful, wonderful young man. I'm not allowed to golf with AB anymore. I can't golf up to his standards. That wasn't about my standards. That was just about pace of play in general. That's all. If you're an average golfer. And by average, the statistics, and I don't know how real they are about people that can break 100, people that can break 90, people that can break 80. Just save the early times for those that are going to get around the course the fastest, because those are the guys that are going to get out of the way. And then you can have all the time in the evening that you want. And that's a better time for you anyways, as you're learning. But no, you can play golf with me because I'm naturally going to play fast. And it's a lot of things like, somebody left a wedge. Go pick it up. They leave a wedge on the green. If you're not doing anything, pull the pin. Rake somebody else's bunker. If you're already on the green and they're struggling, hey, go ahead. Take a look at your putt. I got it. Little things like that. Always take the cart to the direction you're going to be walking next. Don't park the cart 40 yards behind you. Don't leave it on the opposite side of the green. Drive it around into the direction of the next hole so that when you pick up your ball, you can immediately start walking to the next hole. All those little things add up. All of them do. Pull the cart up to next to the ball so your playing partner can grab his club. You give him a yardage. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to where it goes. Watch the ball. All those little things add up. But if you're on your phone, you're looking over here, you're doing that. I hit it. Did you see where it went? I can never see my ball. It's a big problem, especially off the tee. I'll see 1 out of every 12 I can actually catch with my eyes. I'm trying to keep my head down. Watch it and let's go find it, please. And then I'm going to swing real hard at it again. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this. Hour 3, the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Matt Golden. Now, he's the CEO and GM at the Tullymore Golf Resort. They're in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids. And fall golf is here, and they have some huge deals you can take advantage of on stay-and-play packages, tee times, and more. Just go to tullymoregolf.com. That is tullymoregolf.com. Also, if you want to book a Christmas party for the holidays, you want to squeeze in a business meeting with some golf and great food and beverages, Matt Golden and his team can take care of you right now. Go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com. They're also booking big groups who want stay-and-play packages, or maybe you just want to look ahead to the perfect weekend in 2024. Remember, Tullymore is less than an hour north of GR in Canadian Lakes, Michigan. Book your stay-and-play package or get more info now at tullymoregolf.com.
Over to Tracy for breaking news.
We have super good news, Dave. The Super Sale is back at Meijer Friday and Saturday only. Get the biggest savings on Meijer sliced bacon, fresh Meijer chicken tenderloins, select apples, Sargento cheese, Coca-Cola or Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable, and Br0's paper towels. Get Meijer Super Sale deals in-store or online while supplies last.
Now that is super.
Shop this Friday and Saturday only during the Meijer Super Sale. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Elevate your night out at the legendary Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, now open at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Start with the finest cuts of USDA prime beef. Pair that with handcrafted cocktails, signature sides, and Ruth's legendary hospitality, and you've got yourself one incredible night. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse has arrived. Make a reservation at ruthschris.com for your incredible night at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined.
There are 13 folds that bring the American flag to the iconic shape of freedom. This summer, Folds of Honor and Budweiser celebrate 13 years of changing military and first responder lives together. Service never stops, and neither will we. So join me in raising a Budweiser to raise funds for Folds of Honor.
Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Merck Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merck Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. Travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cash back rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merck Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merck is here. Learn more at mymerckperks.com, member FDIC.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner. To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Sparty. Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end. Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan. Boy, do we have some big news coming at you. I believe on Monday morning, very, very big, very exciting, huge news. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Man, it's great to be with you. You might be listening to us in Northwest Ohio. Maybe you're listening to us on the iHeartRadio app. It's free to download, free to use. And you could just search 96.1 The Game. That's our flagship station in beautiful Grand Rapids, Michigan. Or you could search Fox Sports 1230, our affiliate down there in the Glass City as well. I saw Ryan brought this up the other day on, I think it was on Monday. Ryan brought this up to me about Jason Candle. That name heating up a little bit, catching a little steam for our friends in East Lansing. Did Ryan speak this into existence? Now, I know if Coach Candle was sitting right next to me right now, he would give me a look that would turn me to stone. It'd be like staring at Medusa, if you will. He would be, why are you talking about that? We're on to week 3. And I know. He's on to week 3. But that report's starting to pick up a little steam there, Mr. Elke. Picking up a little steam. National outlets starting to put a little coal in the fire. Meijer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843, 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on both BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add.com to that to find our website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox, and you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key, and I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. What's going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news. I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
All right, huge news. Lions got an early start to Seahawks week. They went back to practice yesterday. Everybody returning. It's a day earlier than normal, which is Wednesday. Only one player was absent from the field, and that was left tackle Taylor Decker, who, according to Dan Campbell, played a majority of the game with an ankle injury. He was spotted in a boot after the game. We'll talk more about this coming up a little bit later, but that is your Lion on the injury report. On the other side of the football, the Seattle Seahawks, they had to go make a signing real quick because they've got some issues. Now, one of the keys, obviously, with Geno Smith playing the ball that he did last year, was that they went and got some offensive line help, right? And they kind of changed their identity a little bit. And you notice that teams that are reinvesting in their offensive line, well, you could see the teams that aren't investing in their offensive line, right? Cowboys invest in their offensive line. Giants, they threw a lot of money at a tackle, but one player making a lot of money ain't going to do a whole lot for you. And Daniel Jones eating up the contract he did. If you want to make that kind of money per year, you are eventually going to have to sacrifice other places. The glory of the salary cap, if you will. This is the best part about it. It's that chess game that constantly takes place. Now the Seahawks lost Abraham Lucas. He missed the second half with a sore patella. He is their right tackle. Their left tackle, Charles Cross, who was great last year, they lost him in the third quarter with a sprained big toe. Now, I don't know about you, but if you have gout or if you have any sort of foot problem whatsoever, when your big toe goes, it is one of those things that we take for granted nonstop on our day-to-day life. But your big toe, if you have an issue there, you know you have an issue there. Frank Ragnow's been dealing with it. Frank also told all Detroit Lions fans, no, he does not need your toes. He'll be just fine. So you have that going on. It came out yesterday. Of course it did. After the show, it was maybe like an hour or so after we were done. MRI came back. It is a ruptured Achilles to Aaron Rodgers. He is done for the season. Robert Saleh said, I don't know why people are trying to put an obituary under our team name. I want to make it very clear. Zach's our quarterback. We've got a lot of faith in Zach. This is Zach's team. We're rolling with Zach. He did, however, say they will dabble in the quarterback market, maybe look for somebody who might be hanging out on the couch they could sign and bring in. That would be kind of interesting. They were so confident in Zach, they actually went away from him to go get Aaron Rodgers. Now, how much time will Aaron Rodgers be able to spend with Zach Wilson as A-Rod is rehabbing and Zach Wilson is preparing each week? I think that's a legitimate question, because if there's somebody that I want in that room watching film, I want Aaron Rodgers. Like, great quarterback coach to have. This also pings the Packers with their conditional pick, because Aaron Rodgers had to play 70% of the snaps in order for that first rounder to go through. SpaghettiOs. That could be like a win for the Detroit Lions, too, moving on in the future. So you got that going on. Former NFL receiver Mike Williams passed away at the age of 36. He was hospitalized and in intensive care after an accident at a construction site in Hillsborough County, which includes Tampa, that left him partially paralyzed. How unfortunate is that Williams was last on an NFL roster during a portion of the 2016 offseason with the Kansas City Chiefs. Finished his career with 223 catches, 3,000 yards, and 26 touchdowns in 63 games across 4 years with the Buccaneers and the Buffalo Bills. A lot of Mike Williams is out there, so maybe you remember that particular one. Ohio State names quarterback Kyle McCord the starter for the rest of the season. He outdueled Devin Brown. And really, as I mentioned earlier, this is the first time I've looked at Ohio State and not looked at them like a juggernaut. And I don't remember, it's been, 15, 20 years? Like where in week 2 of the season, I'm not like, oh, God, here we go again. Even last year, I didn't believe it happened 2 years ago. I'm going to be honest with you. The snowfall at the big house, the fans rushing the field, the Big Ten championship game berth, the Big Ten championship. Dude, we get on the flight, we head down to Hard Rock for the Fiesta Bowl. Or not the Fiesta Bowl, but the hell was it that year? The Orange Bowl. I couldn't even believe it. Got to sit and watch the game with a few friends and enjoy some time there in Fort Lauderdale. Oh, it's beautiful. And then the game happened, and I was like, that's why I don't believe it. And then last year happened. You go on the road to the shoe. I don't even believe that happened. This year, I'm like, Jim. Ryan hit you with a, Jim. The best Tony Romo impression he's got, and it's like, they've got some questions there. Now, McCord did look nice, and part of that is figuring out that, yes, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Egbuka are two of the most difficult wide receivers to guard in all of college football. So what you need to do is locate wherever they're going to be on the field and then throw the football at them, for God's sakes. Little surprise, 27 carries. McCord had 1. Devin Brown had 6. So they had 7 carries and 10 yards between the two of them. So the rest of the offense went for 20 carries and 113 yards. Travion Henderson had 5 for 56 and a couple of scores. Mayan Williams had 6 for 25. Like, very, very peculiar what's going on there at Ohio State. Now, Marvin Harrison Jr. had 7 catches, $160 and 2 touchdowns. Egbuka had 5 for 94 and a score. So they picked up right where they should have left off going into week 1 of this year, coming off of last year's season. But, yeah, McCord, find them and throw it to them. Oklahoma City has finalized plans to build a new downtown arena for the Thunder, the city announced yesterday. The Thunder have committed to play in the new arena for at least 25 years, going to the year of 2050. So that's kind of far out. Former Detroit Red Wing Tomas Tatar agreed to a 1-year contract yesterday with the Colorado Avalanche. Financial terms of the deal were not disclosed. Tatar who was 32 years old, played all 82 games last season with the New Jersey Devils. Matt Olson hit his 51st home run, tying the Braves' single-season record. Congratulations to that young man, tying Andrew Jones's mark. And the Rangers' Max Scherzer is going to have an MRI after his right triceps spasm. Speaking of baseball, Tigers lost yesterday in the 10th inning against the Reds. Had to go extras. They lose 6-5. And now for the Tigers, they will pick things back up today at 6:40. Check it out. That's the first pitch time. All the coverage with our friends over on Bally Sports Detroit. We'll step aside, back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
In the den. Michigan.
Hey, sports fans, here's a hanging curveball that you can knock out of the ballpark. This is Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball, inviting you to step up to the plate at Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sports book where you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today. The Eagle Casino and Sports, made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play.
It's amazing how different baseball has become. Not just the equipment and ballparks and rules, but the pure power. Atlanta first baseman Matt Olson recently became the first player to reach 50 homers this season. Yet on this day in 1909, the great Ty Cobb hit his 9th and final home run of the season. All 9 were inside the park home runs, and that total would lead the league by 2. Cobb would hit 117 homers in his 24-year career. Olson, for example, has more than that in his last 3 seasons alone. It's not an indictment on either or even the game today. It's just different. It's a perspective that makes us recognize how much the game has changed and how different great players can affect the game.
Fuel up for less with M-Perks. Earn points on your purchases when you shop at Meijer in-store and online. Then use your points to claim a fuel reward and save at the pump. Your dollar goes further at the pump with M-Perks. Plus, earn points for all qualifying purchases in the Meijer Express station. And keep a lookout for exclusive Meijer Express offers. Enter your M-Perks ID at checkout to earn. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons. Download the Meijer app to sign up or see Meijer.com to learn more.
There are 13 folds that bring the American flag to the iconic shape of freedom. This summer, Folds of Honor and Budweiser celebrate 13 years of changing military and first responder lives together. Service never stops, and neither will we. So join me in raising a Budweiser to raise funds for Folds of Honor.
Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Boy, that fall weather's really starting to set in, folks, but it's not too late to book your stay and play at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort, Canadian Lakes, Michigan, offering not one but two championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives. It's located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant, so you can still book your stay and play to get in your fall golf. I'm sure it's going to be gorgeous there this fall, but if it's too late for you, don't worry. You can already start booking for 2024. They got everything you need right there. Top-of-the-line golf, top-of-the-line accommodations, the perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. My friend Ashley's wedding there, beautiful. Visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. A couple of text messages here. Anthony, I've always been a proponent of courses requiring a card or certificate or a standard USGA test and rules of speed of play that has to be taken once every 5 years so that at least there's a framework for the minimum amount of knowledge with how to play golf properly. Rules of the game, those courses would be packed, and the businesses would make more money because more golfers would be able to play 18 holes each day. I don't know. Maybe they could just put out like a quick video that you could watch. I don't think that any sort of standardized test is a good idea. I think golf's trying to get away from sort of the stuffiness of the sport that has, made it very exclusive, if you will, in the past. And I think that now we go out there, have fun, just play fast, and have at minimum one beverage cart. Like, what are we doing here? And the beverage cart doesn't need to be around holes 1, 2, 3, or 18. And hell, doesn't need to be around 10 either. Like, you keep the beverage cart in the places that you can't get anything to drink. Can JJ do it against Big Ten real teams? Also, when is the Big Ten going to join the rest of the country and play modern football? Run, boring. Honolulu Blue Sparty on YouTube. Well, I think that this is a little bit of a complication here, because the first thing I would ask Honolulu Blue Sparty, which, by the way, in the AB top 25, the real top 25, I think that most of our cousins would be very happy to see that I have Michigan State ranked at 25. They've had 2 games on their schedule. They beat their opponents exactly by the final count how you would assume that they would. Sure, they didn't look great in that first half against Central Michigan, but QB looks to be getting his legs under him a little bit. And I got him at 25. You can't tell, what has Iowa done that's been any different? I mean, Iowa wins a football game 20-13 because their defense scores a touchdown in a rivalry game. So early season, and if Michigan State beats Washington this week, they're going into the top 10. I think Washington's a good football team. I think they're going to have a lot of trouble with Michael Penix. But I think what Justin Rose said to us the other day, if you're a Michigan State fan here, and I know John Wagner called me a homer, and I'm like, he can't see that winged helmet sitting in front of him. He can't see Webb behind me. I might even been wearing Michigan shirt for all I know. So I'm definitely not a homer for Sparty, but I'm a realist, right? That's why I don't have Michigan at number 2. I don't think they're the second best team in the country. I honestly don't. I don't care that they made the playoff last year. Look at how much different the offensive line has been in 2 weeks. Be real and be honest about it. So the question about can JJ do it against real Big Ten teams? Well, here's what we have leading into the Michigan State team, and I assume that Honolulu Blue Sparty is a Spartan fan, so I'll give Michigan State the benefit of the doubt, and I have them ranked at 25 right now, so maybe that's a real Big Ten team. They'll get Bowling Green this weekend, then they'll play Rutgers, at Nebraska, at Minnesota, and get Indiana at home. Which one of those would you consider to be a real Big Ten team? So then you have Michigan State on the road, Purdue at home, on the road at Penn State, on the road at Maryland, and Ohio State at home. So in theory here, we spend the first almost 2 months of the season, the first 7 games, East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana. One of those teams might present a challenge that has Michigan fans a little bit nervous. And then if they are down in a game if maybe there's a turnover, whatever the case may be, you could go back to, Nebraska last year. There might be a game there that they should win on paper, which we know that's only as good as, throwing it right in the shredder. They should win that game on paper, but they might get tested. They might have to come back in a fourth quarter. They might have to, rally the troops at halftime, whatever the case may be. But they might have to face some adversity, and how they handle that adversity will be the first time that we actually learn what this team is really made of. So we play a 12-week season, 12-game season, 13-week season in 12 games. But, you really, what are those real Big Ten tests? Like, Penn State has to continue to play really good football to garner the respect for the conference. Ohio State has to continue to play really good football to garner that respect for the conference. Michigan has to continue to win these games and do so in a very convincing fashion to be able to continue to boost up the profile of the conference. Because I don't know, and it's an age-old debate, but the Pac-12 is playing really good football right now. They've got really good quarterback play. And that's what it comes down to. They've got Caleb Williams at USC. They got Bo Nix at Oregon. Utah won another game. Good for them. Michael Penix Jr., you're going to see him up close and personal this weekend on Peacock. It's ridiculous. Don't get me started on that. But, the Pac-12 is playing some pretty good football right now. The SEC is going to be the SEC. They've got Tennessee. Is Joe Milton Hendon Hooker? Probably not. But we're going to find out. Georgia's the defending champion. Texas beat Alabama. What a huge win that is for all of college football. I have Miami and Colorado both in my top 25. Miami with a huge win over Texas A&M. It's all about the U, baby. The game is better when more of these programs are better. Deion Sanders has all of a sudden turned the clock back. Cordell Stewart's back there now. College football is better when we have intrigue and interest in Oregon, in Washington, in USC, in Colorado, in Utah, in Texas. Oklahoma start off 2-0. They're in the top 25. Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida State. I have them at number 3. Miami, who I already mentioned. Michigan, Ohio State. Notre Dame's got a quarterback, people. I mean, Sam Hartman might be his 400th season playing college football, but they got a quarterback. Notre Dame this year against Ohio State. That's going to be electric. I mean, you're talking about what could be for Coach Freeman there at Notre Dame. You're talking about the opportunity to have a statement win, a legacy win. And Ohio State looks ripe for the picking right now. That's a great game. This week, we don't really learn a whole lot about anybody. No top 25 versus top 25 matchups. A lot of cream puffs. That's what you're going to do. That just, kind of is what it is. It's week 3. So, what is this? Portable garage, ventilated windows, removable sidewalls. Oh, just bought this for the backyard simulator. You need the Peacock login? No, I have a Peacock login. I do have that. Thank you, Mr. Bump. I appreciate that. You're looking out for me. Do you all need Peacock logins? I think what we need to do is have a Michigan Sports Network Peacock login that we can just disperse, and that way everybody can get it and nobody gets charged for it. How do we do that? How do we fight this, the man trying to squeeze us right now, these TV executives that put Washington versus Michigan State on a streaming platform? You can't be. How on God's green earth, Michigan State, for all the issues that they're having this week, at the end of the day, they might not be a nationally prominent program like some other schools in this conference or across the country, but they're still a name brand. Dude, you don't put that on a streaming service, for the love of God. You mean to tell me NBC can't have a noon kickoff? CBS can't have a noon kickoff if you don't want to put on the big noon kickoff on Fox? Come on. It's ridiculous. Okay, make it fair for Washington. Move it to 3:30. We'll step aside. More X's and Bros. We're talking Lions football next here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com. at MHSAA on Twitter and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Over to Tracy for breaking news.
We have super good news, Dave. The super sale is back at Meijer Friday and Saturday only. Get the biggest savings on Meijer sliced bacon, fresh Meijer chicken tenderloins, select apples, Sargento cheese, Coca-Cola or Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable, and Br0's paper towels. Get Meijer super sale deals in-store or online while supplies last.
Now that is super.
Shop this Friday and Saturday only during the Meijer Super Sale. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Friday, October 27th, TVs and Practical Jokers are up to their usual tricks.
If you're not here, you are missing out.
It's the Tenderloins at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Sal, James, and Brian for 2 shows and twice the laughs. 7 and 10 p.m. Tickets start at $59. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Don't miss the Drive Tour with the Tenderloins, October 27th. Party hard, laugh louder. Details at SoaringEagleCasino.com.
miss any of today's show? Find our podcast and listen on demand on Google, Apple, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcast. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino, here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Jack Harbaugh, Bowling Green. I could sing you I Zigga Zumba if you want me to, or he can. But, I mean, that's something we've been around since we can first remember anything. I mean, my mom and dad met in an English class at BG, heard all those stories. There's a great picture of my dad sitting on the bench wearing his number 13, and my mom right behind him as a cheerleader at BG. So, yeah, BG. And my dad has been right there now for a couple weeks telling us Bowling Green is going to come up here and kick your ass. So we got that as well.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros Michigan Sports Network. The coach, Uncle Jim Harbaugh, discussing his father, the connection there to Bowling Green. Bowling Green, obviously, the opponent. We were just talking Big Ten football. We're going to hop into the Lions conversation as well. But, it doesn't, when you hear that story from Jim Harbaugh, and you think about his dad playing college football and his dad and his mom meeting in English class and his dad on the football team and his mom a cheerleader, like, doesn't it just feel, although there obviously were very, very, very much complexities in the world at that point, doesn't that just sound like one of those stories from back in the day that just makes it feel like simpler times? Now, anybody who lived throughout the 50s, 60s, and 70s can tell you. I mean, we haven't had simple times ever. I think we kind of look back and we think like, black and white photographs and, Happy Days or whatever, and Brady Bunch or whatever the case may be. And it's like, just simpler times back then. And when he told that story, I thought that was great because I saw that Mark Coons had cut that up from BCSN. They televise our program in Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan. I saw my man, Joel Sebastianelli, caught up with the coach, Jack Harbaugh. Dad had a rebuttal. He was at the Br0's in Toledo getting something to eat. And Joel, I don't know how Joel even knew he was there, but Joel was outside waiting for him in the parking lot.
Jim has had some fun telling everybody this week what you've told him, that BG's going to come up there and kick.
I said they're coming to beat you. I didn't use. I mean, they've heard it. And they sing that every once in a while just to get Jackie and myself fired up. And then they remember the Dwight Perry story. I start to tell a Dwight Perry story. Jim and John will interject the close. I mean, they won't let me finish the story. They've heard them so often, they've got them memorized. When you get close to Bowling Green, and your heart starts to pound, the memories start to come. I can hear his voice. I can hear his advice. I can hear his coaching points. And you just say, I'm home. I'm coming home.
What is going to be, a very, very fun game. Great photograph there in that piece that Joel Sebastianelli put out with Coach that he had, Coach Harbaugh, Jack Harbaugh, that is, and my friend Cal Bowers. Cal Bowers, Bowling Green guy, worked in the athletic department for years, avid listener of this program as well, in our Fox Sports 1230 affiliate, WCWA, and good for it's. BG's coming to town. We have taken, phone calls from our BG friends that have invited me. I am going to try to stop by. I know the tailgate area. I forget the name of it. It's brand new. It's right there off of, what road is that? It leads right into Stadium. Whatever it is. The only problem is that I get there so early, and if they're starting around 4:30, trying to get point A to point B, get the car, Ann Arbor isn't necessarily the most easy city to try to navigate on a game day, considering there's only 2 lanes in any direction. And it's basically the stadium's built on campus, but kind of in a neighborhood there too. If you take State Street over to Hoover, it's just houses on the right, and then boom, Yost Arena on the left. And houses on the right, and down this street, wait a minute, that's a really big stadium. So, it's kind of got that neighborhood campus sort of feel to it. If you will, but I got to make sure that Cal knows that he's in that piece from BCSN. All right, I want to talk a little Lions football. We're going to shift gears a little bit. You can join the conversation, too. Text the keyword sports radio and send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Or give us a dial, Meijer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. Now, because of the Mel Tucker news, what had happened is that typically on Mondays we'll go through our college football scoreboard, which we will give you every MAC, Big Ten, and top 25 score that there is. And then Tuesdays, once Monday Night Football concludes, we'll hit you with the NFL scoreboard. Well, that didn't happen. Mel Tucker news took up all of Monday. Mel Tucker news taking up a lot of Tuesday, right? We were able to get you the college football, even though we're a day behind. So today, we will also get you our NFL Week 1 scoreboard because I love this stuff. I can't get enough of it. The National Football League is here, and Week 1 started about a week ago. Can you believe that's already been a week? Oh, my goodness. The Lions, the Detroit Lions, go on the road to Kansas City on banner night. Beat the Chefs 21-20. My man Josh Reynolds, been talking about him for weeks here on this program. 4 catches, 80 yards, steady Eddie. Speaking of steady Eddie, I use that term to describe the quarterback Jared Goff. He had 253 yards and a touchdown. David Montgomery, 21 carries, 74 yards and a touchdown. Oh, that third touchdown to make it 21 points. That was scored by the rookie Brian Bryant on the pick 6. Let's go. Get the Seahawks this week. They're down 2 tackles. Then we move into Sunday's game. The Falcons beat the Panthers 24-10. Poor Bryce Young. 146 through the air, a touchdown through 2 picks. A lot of sloppy quarterback play this week. I think we're going to be reevaluating how we go about the preseason because quarterback play was subpar. The Browns beat the Bengals, folks. In the battle for Ohio, Deshaun Watson runs for a touchdown. Also threw a pick, threw for 154 yards. Nick Chubb, he's good at football. 18 carries, 106 yards. Browns defense was all over Cincinnati. They couldn't breathe. 24-3. I picked the Bengals to win that game, too. I feel embarrassed. Good for Cleveland. Bad for Cincinnati. Joe Burrow with the injury in camp, though, however. So that makes it a little bit interesting because, all right, then he got that new contract. There's a lot of money going on. Where's the offensive line? You got to block. Jaguars go on the road, beat the Colts in Anthony Richardson's rookie debut. 31-21 was your final score there. Trevor Lawrence, 241, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Travis Etienne, 18 carries, 77 yards and a score. And how about Calvin Ridley back off his suspension from gambling? 8 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Let Jamison Williams do that. This town will go absolutely insane. Tampa Bay Buccaneers went on the road to U.S. Bank Stadium. I told every year there's these teams that make the playoffs. The Minnesota Vikings won 13 one-score games during the 2022 season. There's no way they can repeat that. You lose Dalvin Cook. You lost a ton on defense. The Vikings are a team on notice, folks. They're out. They are out. They got beat by Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home, 20-17. And Justin Jefferson had 9 catches and 150 yards. Like, you can't really ask for too much more than that. You lost to Baker. Baker, new quarterback coach. Huh? Maybe we'll get a little moving and shaking there. Huh? Maybe he'll improve his game just a tad bit. Maybe it'll be the same Baker Mayfield that maybe a lot of folks thought that they were going to get in Cleveland. And now he's in Tampa. Right? And Tampa's kind of in shambles anyway, so it just makes sense that all you got to do is find a quarterback that can kind of hold it down just for a moment while you get the rest of your organization intact. All right, now back to Sam Spence's beautiful NFL Films music. I love it. I can't get enough of it. Derek Carr in his New Orleans debut, 305 yards, a touchdown, and a score. They won 16-15 over the Tennessee Titans. Titans need a quarterback. They do. I'm sorry, they need a quarterback. Derrick Henry, 15 carries, 63 yards. How about Chris Olave, by the way? 8 catches, 112 yards for him. Saints win 16-15. San Francisco 49ers behind Brock Purdy go on the road in his return from elbow surgery. 49ers drill the Steelers 30-7. Brandon Ayuk, 8 catches, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kenny Pickett, Pick-IT, Pickett, 232 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Pittsburgh can't run the ball. Offensive line plays a struggle. They lost Deontay Johnson. He's going to be out for a couple weeks with a hamstring injury. The former Toledo Rocket, that's not good. Purdy was 19-29 for 220 and 2 touchdowns. Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey, 22 carries, 152 yards and a score. They're too good. The Niners, if I did NFL power rankings, which I've been thinking about doing, Niners are number 1. I know you got to be the best. You got to beat the best to be the best. NFL's a different game, folks. It's Chiefs, bye. Hello, Niners. Wow. What a game. Talk about overreaction Wednesday. The Commandos beat the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals might be the worst team in football. Ben's saying it. They don't have a quarterback. Sam Howell didn't look great either, but whatever. It'll work. 20-16. Washington gets the win on their home opener. Good for them. Baltimore Ravens take care of business against the Houston Texans. Lamar Jackson got to be a little bit more careful with the football, young fella. You just got paid all that money. You got to get paid to secure the football. 25-9, the Ravens win. However, the biggest loss will be J.K. Dobbins to a torn Achilles for the rest of the season. Green Bay Packers go on the road. Jordan Love threw 3 touchdown passes. Good for him. Aaron Jones had a couple receptions and 86 yards and a touchdown score as well. Justin Fields. That offense ain't going to work. 38-20 was your final score. The Packers beat the Bears. Good for the Packers, I suppose. I hate to even have to say that out loud. But Jordan Love, great debut for him. Looked comfortable back there. Didn't try to force it anywhere. Jaden Reed, you know that name. 2 catches, 48 yards. Good for them. Romeo Doubs. Couple scores for him. Good for Jordan Love. That's the most sportsmanship way I know how to say that. Good for him. And they beat the Bears. And as long as the Bears lose, we're all happy. How about the Las Vegas Raiders? Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy G. 2 touchdowns and 200 yards passing. They beat the Denver Broncos in Denver 17-16. Oh, what's going on with that Denver offense, folks? Wait a minute now. Sean Payton throwing all that shade. They had Nathaniel Hackett and the Jets. At least the Jets won a game. Russell Wilson was 27-34 for 2 touchdowns on 177 yards. They can't run the football either. Flat out, Javonte Williams had 13 carries for 52 yards. Samaje Perine, the running back, was their leading receiver at 37 yards. Not only can they not run, but they struggle to pass. What's going on with Russell Wilson? The Eagles go on the road and beat the Patriots 25-20. That game was a little interesting, though. Some turnovers early. Mac Jones had 3 touchdowns passing and 316 yards through the air. Ezekiel Elliott did fumble the football. And look, if the Eagles don't have the first quarter that they have in the first 2 touches of the football, Darius Slay with a pick 6, hey, I know the conditions were a little crazy. Patriots, that's not as bad as it sounds. Dolphins beat the Chargers. Dolphins would be number 2 in my NFL power rankings behind the San Francisco 49ers today. They would be number 2. Tua Tagovailoa. The Lions should have drafted him with their first pick. I can't believe that they didn't. 466 yards and 3 touchdowns. They should have moved up. No, I'm teasing. That was just for Freddie. Tua was an absolute dog in that game. If all else fails, throw it as far as you can in the direction of Tyreek Hill, and what's going to happen is he will run to the football and catch it. 215 yards on 11 catches and 2 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? Austin Eckler did all he could for the Chargers. 16 carries, 117 yards, and a touchdown. Not only did he do all that running the football, but he could catch it out of the backfield as well. Dynamite, 4 catches, 47 yards. Really disappointed. Justin Herbert, 228 yards and a touchdown passing. They're going to need more. You score 34 points, however, in the NFL, you got to win that football game. I got to give it up to the Miami Dolphins. They would be number 2 in my power rankings today. Today, the Miami Dolphins. The Rams go on the road in the division to the Pacific Northwest to take on the Seattle Seahawks. They'll be the Lions' opponent this coming week. And they beat them 30-13 in a game that looked like prime Matthew Stafford. Are you kidding me? Not again, Matthew Stafford. Now we got to listen to this. I thought the Rams were going to take a huge step back. Hey, my bad. I know it's only 1 week, and they're still going to take a step back. It is what it is. But the Rams showed that they could be more than competitive in this football game. Matthew Stafford slinging it. No looks. Throwing the heater. Oh, Seahawks lost both tackles. Got beat at home. What happened to the 12s in Seattle? Dallas Cowboys, Sunday Night Football. John Wagner hated this game, and I love this game. You want to know why I love this game? Because when you get a professional football team that can put it on another professional football team, the New York Giants could not have blocked our staff. Me, Bill Simonson, Ben Glaze, Brett Hayes, and Ryan Elke. The 5 of us, our 5-man rush, I don't think they could have blocked us. They look so bad. So bad against the Dallas Cowboys. What a game for the Cowboys. I haven't heard from New York Scott. He's probably tired of me dogging him. I wouldn't have to do this if they would have put up a fight. And it's not like Dak Prescott did anything crazy. They just dominated in every facet of the football game in the trenches. Danny Dimes, 104 yards and 2 interceptions. What is you doing, baby? They didn't pay you all that money to throw the ball to the other team. What's the matter with you? Tony Pollard, 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. You didn't need to pay Zeke. You didn't need to pay him. That's why you don't pay running backs. Plain and simple. There's always somebody else that can do it and probably do it better. What'd Zeke do? Fumbled the football, cost New England the game. What'd Tony Pollard do? Scored twice. Good for the Cowboys. And then in overtime on Monday Night Football. By the way, Sports Illustrated wrote a piece that they didn't like Peyton and Eli's call of the game-winning punt return. It's not a walk-off, it's a game winner. Get rid of this walk-off chatter. That's a baseball term. I don't even like that. It's game-winning. It won the game. Game-winning punt return, and Eli and Peyton are sitting there. Oh, there he goes. And Sports Illustrated is going to write a hit piece over there. The call wasn't any good. They're not there to call the game, guys. You want to call for the game? Tune into Joe and Troy on Monday Night Football. The Manning cast is to allow us civilians to sit down with Peyton and Eli and their friends and watch football in the living room with them. That's the whole point of it. It was so successful. Omaha Productions was so successful with this that they then tried to do it for the NBA with Screaming A. Smith because they're paying him $6 million a year and they got to put him on everything because they fired everybody else because they can't balance the budget. What are you guys doing? Why are you critiquing Peyton and Eli? It's a great show. If you don't want to listen to two guys on the couch talking about football, flip over to the broadcast and watch that instead. Jets win. Jets, Jets. They beat the Buffalo Bills. Here's the deal. Dan Orlovsky said this yesterday. I'm going to reiterate this. Josh Allen needs to grow up. And what Orlovsky meant by that was the happy feet. You're running around the pocket. You're throwing the ball to the other team. 3 interceptions isn't going to cut it. Nobody in the National Football League playing the quarterback position has turned the ball over more than Josh Allen has since 2018. Guys, that's a problem. And the Bills' window was open there for a short amount of time. This is how the window closes, and this is how quickly it happens. You lost to Zach Wilson after the steam was pulled from the engines of the New York Jets. They lose their future Hall of Fame quarterback and Aaron Rodgers to a ruptured Achilles. Totally deflated the sideline. And you can't win that football game. I vote no confidence in the Bills. No confidence in the Bills. Jets win in overtime. I got no confidence in Zach Wilson either, but regardless, like that just is what it is. And there's your Week 1 NFL scoreboard. Good morning, AB. Will you be rocking the blue ski mask per CJGJ request this Sunday? Go Lions. If they hand me one to wear, I'll wear it. If not, I'm not showing up to work wearing a ski mask. I am a professional, for the love of God. Now, football is back in full swing with another epic week of games in Week 2. And who's got you covered for the action for every single one of them? Well, DraftKings does, of course. An official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Get in on the new NFL action in Week 2 with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app right now. Use the promo code HUGE to sign up. New customers bet $5. Take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings. Only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. For Ben and Ryan, I'm Anthony. So long. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Matt.